U.S. President Barack Obama called Cuban Americans ambassadors for freedom. Of course, for folks here, they're just plain family. But either way, for the gloomy airline industry, they're providing a welcome boost to business.
Tensions mount at Havana's international airport. Finally, Continental Flight 1923 taxis in. The first direct flight from Los Angeles in 5 years. Cuban Americans can now travel back to the island freely. Gabrielle and Kendall Eberl have never been to Cuba.
I'm going to visit my mother's family, my uncles. I have like 4 uncles here, lots of cousins we've never met, people we've never met, and I'm just excited to be able to come with my daughter and share this experience. I've been wanting to come my whole life.
Washington eliminated restrictions on Cuban Americans visiting their relatives and also broadened the definition of family.
That's my uncle. My mother, I haven't seen him ever. I've never met him.
Next up, U.S. lawmakers are piling pressure on Congress to lift travel restrictions on all Americans.
2 million tourists visit Cuba every year, and even by conservative estimates, that figure could double if Americans were free to travel here. The more the merrier as far as these artisans are concerned.
But is Cuba ready? The UN World Tourism Organization seems to think so.
Cuba is absolutely ready. The supply always follows and goes hand in hand with the demand.
This Canadian tourist isn't so sure.
They need some money to come in and build up what they have before a whole bunch of people come, because I don't know if they can handle it. There's not a transportation system here that could handle a lot of people.
It won't happen overnight, but the airline industry is already gearing up, with more flights from more cities. For the time being, they'll connect Cuba's divided families.
Well, the industry insiders we've talked to said that the broader restrictions on all Americans could be lifted by the end of this presidential term, and maybe even as soon as next year, Melissa.
The one Canadian tourist mentioned transportation challenges. What other challenges could there be if there is an incredible boon in tourism? Are the hotels ready? Are the hotels and motels and hostels ready?
Well, that's a very good question, and it really varies, to tell you the truth. Some of the hotels that we're familiar with in Havana, the elevators don't even work. So, on occasion, you may have to hike it up to your room. On the other hand, there are destinations like Varadero, that are very high class, 5-star resorts. There's a golf course there. So I think it'll really depend on what kind of destination you're looking for, and regardless, you'll have to keep in mind, you're going to Cuba, you're not going to France.